Hey there, my friend. In this video, we're diving into the shocking stories of famous stars who are currently serving life sentences. Let's uncover the hidden truths behind these high-profile figures and remember that no one escapes the consequences. Drop a comment with the number 1 and let's jump right into it. Tammy Lynn Sytch, better known as Sunny in the WWE Universe, was one of the pioneering WWE divas, but her personal life has been marred by chaos and tragedy. After achieving fame in the 1990s, her life took a dark turn, plagued by addiction and ongoing legal issues. The most tragic event occurred on March 25, 2022, when she caused a fatal car accident in Ormond Beach, Florida. Driving under the influence, she crashed into another vehicle at high speed, killing 75-year-old Julian Lassiter. At the time, her blood alcohol content was more than 3.5 times the legal limit. Sytch faced multiple serious charges, including DUI manslaughter and driving with a suspended license, and was labeled a repeat offender due to her history with drunk driving incidents. Lassiter's family also filed a civil lawsuit seeking over $100,000 in damages. In August 2023, Sytch pleaded no contest to the charges and received a 17-year prison sentence for DUI manslaughter, with Florida law requiring a mandatory minimum sentence. Given her criminal record, the court showed no leniency. Now 51 years old, Sytch will remain incarcerated until around 2039, when she'll be 67. Her story serves as a powerful reminder of the devastating consequences of alcohol abuse and the dangers of impaired driving, illustrating the harsh toll of repeated mistakes. Harrison Norris Jr., known to wrestling fans as Hardbody Harrison, was a notable figure in WCW during the 1990s. After his wrestling career, he gained attention by winning the FX competition show Tough-Man in 2000. However, behind the scenes, his life took a sinister turn. Norris was accused of luring women to his home with promises of training for a career in professional wrestling. Instead, these women allegedly found themselves coerced into illegal activities to settle debts, with Norris using threats and manipulation to control them. The situation worsened when Norris was accused of transporting several women across state lines, leading to federal charges under anti-trafficking laws. In November 2007, he was convicted and sentenced to life in prison, marking a dramatic fall from grace for a man once seen as a rising star in the wrestling world. Oscar Pistorius was once celebrated as one of the most inspiring athletes globally. Having lost both his legs at a young age, the South African sprinter defied the odds to become a renowned competitor. He made history by participating in both the Paralympic and Olympic Games, proving that physical limitations do not determine a person's potential. However, his legacy was forever marred by a tragic incident when he was convicted in a high-profile murder case, altering how the world viewed him. However, in the early hours of Valentine's Day, 2013, Pistorius's heroic story took a dark and tragic turn. That morning, he shot and killed his girlfriend, Reeva Steenkamp, a well-known model, through the bathroom door in his home. Pistorius claimed he mistook her for an intruder, but authorities questioned his story due to signs of tension in their relationship in the months leading up to the shooting. In October 2014, Pistorius was convicted of culpable homicide and sentenced to 5 years in prison. However, his early release less than a year later for good behavior sparked widespread outrage, with many demanding a harsher punishment. By November 2015, the conviction was appealed, and Pistorius was found guilty of murder. His sentence was increased to 6 years, which many felt was still too lenient given the gravity of the crime. Prosecutors then pushed for a longer sentence, arguing that justice for Reeva Steenkamp had not been fully served. When Percy Master P. Miller started building his empire with No Limit Records, his goal was not only to achieve success but also to help his brothers escape the hardships of life in the New Orleans projects. Master P lifted up his brothers, Corey, known as C Murder, and Vishon, better known as Silk the Shocker, helping them rise to prominence as key artists within his growing label. Despite achieving gold records and increasing fame, Corey Miller faced a series of personal and legal struggles that would ultimately overshadow his musical career. In 2001, Corey C. Murder Miller's legal troubles began with a shooting outside a nightclub, but this was just the start of a series of incidents that would define his life. In January 2002, he was involved in another violent altercation at a New Orleans nightclub, during which he fired a gun and tragically struck Steve Thomas in the chest, causing his death. Miller was tried twice for the crime. His first trial in 2003 ended with a life sentence, but the conviction was overturned due to the prosecution's failure to disclose crucial witness records. Miller faced a retrial in 2009 and was once again sentenced to life in prison. In the years since, high-profile figures like Kim Kardashian have pushed for a re-examination of his case. However, in 2023, a federal judge upheld Miller's sentence, leaving his fate unchanged. Josh Duggar, formerly a key figure on TLC's reality show 19 Kids and Counting, became embroiled in a series of scandals that destroyed his career and led to his eventual arrest. His legal issues emerged in 2015, when allegations surfaced regarding past inappropriate behavior involving several of his underage sisters and a family friend. Although these events occurred years earlier, they ignited widespread public outrage and ultimately led to the cancellation of the family's reality show. In April 2021, Josh Duggar was hit with federal charges related to the possession of illegal materials involving minors. He faced 2 counts, one for receiving such materials and another for possession, each carrying a potential 20-year prison sentence. Investigators found the materials to be especially disturbing. By December 2021, Duggar was convicted on both charges. In May 2022, he was sentenced to 12 years and 7 months in federal prison, with no chance of parole. Following his sentence, he was also ordered to serve 20 years of supervised release and register as a sex offender. Throughout the ordeal, his wife, Anna, remained by his side, a stark contrast to many other public figures in similar circumstances. Duggar is currently serving his sentence at FCY Segoville in Texas and will be 48 when he becomes eligible for release. Skylar Julius DeLeon, best known for his role in Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, became infamous for his involvement in one of California's most shocking crimes. In 2004, DeLeon and his accomplices murdered retired couple Tom and Jackie Hawks, who were living on their yacht. The couple had planned to sell the yacht and move closer to family. The crime appeared to be financially motivated, as DeLeon sought to take ownership of the yacht. He was charged with first-degree murder with special circumstances for financial gain. In 2008, DeLeon was convicted and sentenced to death. However, due to California's moratorium on the death penalty, he is currently serving his sentence at the notorious San Quentin State Prison. Kalen Rashad Walker, recognized for his role in the film Superfly, became entangled in serious legal issues when he was arrested in 2018 on multiple charges of sexual assault. Prosecutors claimed that Walker exploited his status in the entertainment industry to lure women, mainly aspiring models, with false promises of career advancement. Once he gained their trust, he allegedly manipulated the situation to commit acts of sexual assault. Reports reveal that Walker often contacted his victims via social media, offering fake opportunities for photo shoots or other entertainment industry jobs as a guise. These assaults were said to have occurred over several years, starting in 2013. By the time of his arrest, over a dozen women had come forward accusing him of sexual misconduct. In October 2022, Walker was convicted on multiple counts of forcible sexual assault and sentenced to 50 years to life in prison. Although he was acquitted of charges related to 3 of the 10 victims, the jury determined that Walker had exploited his influence and status to carry out these crimes. His earliest possible release date is expected to be in the 2070s, meaning he will likely spend the remainder of his life behind bars. Harvey Weinstein was once one of the most influential and successful film producers in history, with a legacy that includes iconic films such as Pulp Fiction, Scream, and Gangs of New York. However, his Hollywood empire crumbled when allegations of misconduct began to surface in October 2017. In a public statement, he admitted to causing harm and expressed regret, but his efforts to redeem his reputation came too late to repair the damage. As the Me Too movement gained traction, many women began sharing their personal stories of abuse, including high-profile actresses like Salma Hayek, Rose McGowan, and Ashley Judd. Judd recalled, "I fought off a series of punches that he ignored. Perhaps he heard them as consent." Within months, Weinstein faced swift and severe consequences. He was banned for life from the Producers Guild of America and removed from the board of his own company. In 2020, he was convicted of third-degree rape in New York and sentenced to 23 years in prison. In 2022, he faced similar charges in California, adding another 16 years to his sentence, while his New York conviction was overturned in 2024. At 72 years old, he is expected to remain behind bars for life, serving as a powerful reminder of the lasting consequences of his actions. Ryan Grantham, known for his roles in Riverdale and Diary of a Wimpy Kid, drew public attention in March 2020 when he was arrested for the murder of his mother, Barbara. At the age of 21, Grantham shot his 64-year-old mother while she was playing piano at their home in Squamish, British Columbia. After the murder, Grantham plotted his next moves, preparing to carry out even more disturbing actions. He loaded his car with firearms, ammunition, and other supplies, intending to drive to Ottawa with dangerous plans in mind. However, after several hours on the road, he had a change of heart and decided to turn himself in at a Vancouver police station, where he confessed to killing his mother. Grantham was charged with second-degree murder, which in Canada carries a minimum life sentence. This charge applies to intentional actions that were not premeditated. During the trial, Grantham's mental health issues were examined, revealing a history of depression and violent outbursts leading up to the crime. Evidence also suggested that he had rehearsed the act in the days prior. In September 2022, he was sentenced to life in prison with the possibility of parole after 14 years, with his expected release around 2036, when he will be in his late 30s. The judge took into account Grantham's youth and mental health struggles, but underscored the severity of the crime and the potential danger he posed to others. Amy Locane, famous for her role as Sandy Harling on Melrose Place, was involved in a devastating crash on June 27, 2010. Driving under the influence, Locane was speeding at 53 miles per hour in a 35-mile-per-hour zone when she collided with another vehicle. The accident tragically led to the death of 60-year-old Helen Seaman and left her husband Fred with severe injuries. At the time of the crash, Locane's blood alcohol level was nearly 3 times the legal limit. As a result, she was charged with second-degree vehicular manslaughter and third-degree assault by vehicle. The legal proceedings spanned several years, and in 2012, Locane was sentenced to 3 years in prison. The sentence sparked widespread controversy, with many feeling it was too lenient given the severity of the incident. The judge considered her lack of prior offenses and her responsibility to 2 young children when making the decision. However, the Seaman family and prosecutors argued that the sentence failed to reflect the gravity of her actions, leading to numerous appeals and retrials. During this difficult period, Locane's husband filed for divorce and sought custody of their 2 daughters. After facing numerous legal hurdles, she was retried in 2020 and sentenced to 8 years in prison, with the condition that she serve a minimum of 6 years and 10 months before becoming eligible for parole. Locane is currently serving her sentence at the Edna Mahan Correctional Facility for Women and recently lost an appeal seeking a reduced sentence. The reality show Welcome to Sweetie Pies captured the hearts of viewers during its 9-season run from 2011 to 2018, focusing on Robbie Montgomery, a former backup singer for Ike and Tina Turner, as she built a successful soul food restaurant empire. However, just a few years before the show's conclusion, tragedy struck when Montgomery's 21-year-old grandson, Andre Montgomery Jr., was tragically shot and killed in St. Louis. The truth behind the tragedy was even more shocking. In 2020, Tim Norman, Montgomery's son and a prominent cast member of the show, was arrested and charged with the murder of his own nephew, Andre Montgomery Jr. The motive was chilling. Norman had taken out a life insurance policy on Andre, promising to pay a hitman nearly $500,000 if Andre were killed. During the 2023 trial, phone records and testimony from Norman's accomplices revealed a clear narrative of his involvement, leading to his conviction. He was ultimately sentenced to life in prison, marking a devastating fall from grace for the once popular television figure. Joe Sun, recognized for his role as Random Task in Austin Powers' International Man of Mystery, is currently serving a life sentence after being convicted of serious criminal charges. Before his acting career, he was an MMA fighter with a record of 0 wins and 4 losses. However, his infamy grew due to a horrific crime committed years earlier, which would ultimately define his legacy. On Christmas night in 1990, Joe Sun and an accomplice were involved in the abduction and brutal assault of a woman in Huntington Beach, California. The attack was violent and left the victim severely traumatized as she endured immense suffering before being released. Despite the seriousness of the crime, Sun managed to evade justice for nearly 2 decades. It wasn't until 2008, when Joe Sun was arrested on unrelated charges, that his DNA was entered into the national database, leading to a match in the long unsolved case. Finally, the victim, who had lived in fear and uncertainty for nearly 2 decades, was able to pursue justice. In 2008, Sun faced multiple charges, including kidnapping and torture. While the statute of limitations prevented him from being tried for all of them, He was convicted of torture in 2011 and sentenced to a term ranging from 7 years to life. While incarcerated, Sun was also linked to the violent death of a fellow inmate, a sex offender, which resulted in a voluntary manslaughter conviction in 2017, adding 27 more years to his sentence. He is now serving a total of 34 years to life in prison. Shannon Richardson, recognized for her roles in The Walking Dead and The Vampire Diaries, became embroiled in a shocking crime in 2013. In a strange and disturbing act, she mailed letters containing the deadly substance ricin to President Barack Obama, New York Mayor Michael Bloomberg, and Mark Glaze, the director of Mayors Against Illegal Guns. Ricin, derived from castor beans, is highly toxic and poses a significant danger to anyone who comes into contact with it. Amid a turbulent marriage to her husband, Nathan Richardson, Shannon attempted to frame him by planting evidence to divert suspicion. However, a swift investigation uncovered that she was the true culprit behind the crime. In June 2013, the FBI arrested her after she confessed to producing and mailing the toxic ricin letters from her home in Texas. She was charged with 3 counts of threatening the president, 2 counts of sending threatening letters, and 1 count of producing and possessing a biological weapon. During her trial, Richardson claimed her actions were driven by emotional stress from her difficult marriage and pregnancy. Despite this, the court found her actions to be intentional and highly reckless. In July 2014, Shannon Richardson was sentenced to 18 years in federal prison after pleading guilty to producing and possessing a biological agent. She was also ordered to pay $367,400 to cover the costs of the government's investigation, including expenses related to the handling of the contaminated letters. Richardson is currently serving her sentence at the Federal Medical Center Carswell in Texas, with an expected release date around 2032. Eun-Soo, best known for his role in Squid Game, found himself at the center of a serious legal controversy following the show's global success in 2021. He was accused of sexual assault by a woman who claimed he had inappropriately touched her during a meeting in 2017. Although the incident was reported and a formal complaint filed in 2021, police initially chose not to investigate due to insufficient evidence. The case was reopened in 2022 as new attention surrounding the allegations grew. Eun-Soo denied the accusations, explaining that he had only briefly touched the woman's hand and that the interaction was not sexual in nature. He expressed regret if his actions had been misunderstood, but maintained his innocence throughout the proceedings. At the end of 2022, South Korean prosecutors officially charged Eun-Soo with non-consensual sexual assault, a charge under South Korean law for sexual acts that occur without consent but fall short of being classified as forcible assault. The allegations caused significant public outrage, prompting the Ministry of Culture, Sports and Tourism to suspend an advertising campaign featuring him. The news shocked the international community, as Eun-Soo had been widely admired for his humility and wisdom after Squid Game's success and his Golden Globe win. In March 2024, he was sentenced to 8 months in prison, though the sentence was suspended for 2 years. Additionally, he was ordered to complete 40 hours of treatment for sexual violence. Danny Masterson, widely recognized for his iconic role as Stephen Hyde on the popular sitcom That 70s Show, 1998 to 2006, saw his career marred by serious criminal allegations that surfaced during the peak of his fame, between 2001 and 2003. Masterson was accused of drugging and sexually assaulting 2 women at his home. In 2017, multiple women came forward with accusations against Danny Masterson, prompting an investigation that led to his removal from Netflix's The Ranch. While some of the cases were dismissed, 2 incidents moved forward, culminating in an 8-month-long trial. Emotional testimonies from the victims underscored the lasting trauma caused by Masterson's actions, ultimately leading to his conviction on 2 counts of rape in May 2023. Just over 3 months later, he was sentenced to 30 years to life in prison and began serving his sentence at North Kern State Prison in Delano, California, starting on December 27, 2023. This marked a dramatic fall from grace for the once celebrated actor. In a 2009 indictment, Sean Diddy Combs faced accusations of orchestrating a criminal enterprise that involved coercing women into prolonged sexual acts. The charges claimed that he used his influence, threats, and drugs to manipulate and control his victims, all while carefully maintaining his public image and concealing his actions. Diddy has vehemently denied all allegations, with his legal team arguing that the accusations are part of an unjust prosecution and strongly asserting his innocence. Prosecutors have presented disturbing evidence, including the discovery of firearms and large quantities of lubricants during raids at Diddy's residence, alongside allegations of abuse and coercion. If convicted on all charges, he could face a prison sentence ranging from 15 years to life. Diddy has been denied bail twice and is currently being held at the Metropolitan Detention Center, where he is under special supervision for his safety as he awaits trial. Thank you for watching today's video. We hope the stories shared have helped you understand more about the famous stars currently serving life sentences. Remember, love and acceptance are always important. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe so you won't miss any exciting content in the future. We'll see you in the next video.